Hey everybody, it's AA Ron again here for another episode of Make Stuff. And so what we're going to cover today are triggered events. And so I've set up a simple scenario really quick where I have three friendly planes sitting here, and up in the distance you can see this little red triangle as well as little dots here on the map. I've got three enemy planes out here as well, just so you can see it really quick. And so the basic scenario that I'm going to set up with this, I also have a waypoint right here if you guys couldn't tell from the base waypoint stuff. So 6 units, 1 waypoint, and the basic idea that I'm going to set up here for the demonstration is going to be when these units, these enemy units, get so close in proximity to this base, I'm going to trigger just something simple, is like dramatic background music, because you know, times are tense, you got to protect the base. So I'm going to set up this simple scenario so that you guys can kind of see how triggered events work, and then I'm going to kind of explain it really quick while I open it and you guys kind of see it as well. So unlike timed events, which are event groups, the event trigger is an individual event, but you can still stack multiple actions inside of it. So there are 2 types. There's proximity and conditional. Conditional gets crazy, and we'll cover it in another video. But today we're going to stick to proximity, and we're going to kind of go over what's here. So for triggering some kind of event, you got to pick a waypoint. So that's why we have our base waypoint here. So I'm going to pick the base waypoint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that it's going to be triggered by any enemy. So when any one of those 3 enemies over here come within, you see the little line here, you'll notice that this gets bigger if I type a bigger number. So you can set how far you want these units to be able to get to this waypoint before you do something with it. So we'll see what something like 30,000 looks like without them already being inside the marker. So it looks like they're in 30, so we'll back it up to 25 so it's most of it. Alright, 20. And so when these enemy units enter this blue circle, what we're going to do, so it can either be on enter or on exit. So either when the enemy is entering, or if you want to set some kind of trigger point for if a friendly's leaving, both would kind of work like that. But the triggered by gives you a few different options. You have player, you have unit, which you can then specify a very specific unit to trip or trigger this event. I can imagine this being helpful in specific story situations, or it could just be any unit whatsoever, any allied or any enemy. And in this case, again, we're just going to go with any enemy, and we're going to want them to enter this circle, and when they do, we want to do something. So it's up to you also. Spherical, the way I interpret it is, instead of having a plane of existence start at this blue line and just go forever up, so that it just makes like an invisible cylinder boundary above where this blue line is to the top of the universe. I wonder if it makes it like a half a globe, you know what I mean? So if they enter in through the top as well, it will kind of trigger it. So it allows it to, I guess maybe depending on the size, if you could envision a globe being here, that an enemy could come in from the top and it would still trigger it. So I think it frees up part of the sky, but I don't actually know. That's just my guess right now. And so whenever this trigger is triggered, you're going to be able to specify whatever you want to do from this custom looking scary event action browser again. But in our particular case, to keep things simple for demonstration purposes, we're just going to say we want to play some epic background music. So I'm going to pick the epic background music that I want, and I'm not going to play it, but this song would trigger when these enemies hit this radius point. So if I were flying around here just minding my own business and all of a sudden I were to hear background music, I would all of a sudden know that these dudes are within 20,000 meters of my base. So triggered events can be easy just like other events, but they can also get really complicated, so it's really up to kind of what you're doing. So just be mindful of that when designing eventing into your mission. And on the next one, I am going to cover objectives. So we'll see you guys in the next one for some objectives.